a chance now to talk about the Hawks without a lot of problems. We do, but some people still don't believe no mistakes were made. You get Nickeil Alexander-Walker to come in here. You get Luke Kennard off the bench. You get Nickeil Porzingis as your starting center. So for this year, you have a bona fide team with veterans, proven players, and not a whole lot of, we know these guys can do it. We just haven't seen it. No, we have guys now that have demonstrated what they are and what they can be for other teams in the NBA. And now getting a chance to talk about the Hawks from the start, getting a chance to prove that Trae Young can take this team a long way if he has some people around him. Well, now he's got some people and some player accomplishments around him.
Yeah, and it's great to see. You've built a team differently than you had in the past. You know, in the past, I'm not sure what the plan was. Matter of fact, I don't think they had a plan 9 times out of 10. They tried to go out and get a all-star backcourt mate to go run with Trae Young. Him and DeJounte Murray never fit. It was my ball, your ball a lot of the times there. Now you think about the guys that are around Trae Young. You bring in Luke Kennard. You know what he is? He's a spot-up, standstill shooter. Doesn't need the ball in his hand.
Bona fide.
Nickeil Alexander-Walker. You know what he is? He is a defender who doesn't need the ball in his hand. You know, you think about Dyson Daniels last year. He wasn't looking for the ball in his hand. Jalen Johnson can do a little bit of everything. You've rewarded him with a big contract. You've got Onyeka Okongwu there. Again, doesn't need the ball in his hand. Pick and roll, rim runner, can pop out now and shoot the three. Everything is set up around Trae Young. Maybe Zachary Richeche will need the ball in his hand eventually as he gets older in this league. But everything now is set up around Trae, where you have ancillary pieces that kind of know their role. You've got a guy in Kristaps Porzingis who can be a 20-point-a-game scorer. This team is put together in a way that I haven't seen a Hawks team put together in a long, long time.
Do we believe, or will there be some negativity and criticism? Folks already on record saying they don't believe. Here's one of your boys, and I respect the guy because he was a tough player. Everybody needs a player like this. I don't like these comments. Udonis Haslam on ESPN talking about the moves that the Hawks have made, but now bringing Trae Young into the fold and saying it still might not be enough.
And I love it, too, because you lost DeAndre Hunter. So you bring in another guy who can guard perimeter, who can do the dirty work on the defensive end. You bring in Porzingis. You have the #1 assist guy in the league. Lord knows he's going to get him the ball and make sure he gets shots. But is he the guy that's going to lead your team? You've had other guys come in. You had the DeJounte Murrays. You've brought in other guys to help Trae Young get to that level that he thinks he can get to. It hasn't happened. So you can put the pieces around. But do you have the right ingredients? I mean, you have the right ingredients, but can you bake the cake? And I think that's what we're looking at right now. Can Trae Young lead these guys?
Now I want cake. Thank you, Udonis. Yeah. But no, he's not wrong. So what we've seen out of Trae Young, he puts up unbelievable numbers. He had one really good playoff run where if he doesn't step on an official's foot, the Hawks probably go to the NBA Finals that year because I think they beat Milwaukee, and Lord knows they could have won the championship that year. But since that point, there has been something amiss. I mean, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. We've talked about for a year and a half, do you get rid of Trae Young because it wasn't working? So this is one last opportunity of putting pieces around Trae Young where it becomes, hey, can Trae Young at 27 years old, 8 years into his NBA career, finally be a guy that puts a team on his back where he doesn't have to play great defense because he's got defensive pieces around him. He doesn't have to score all the points because you have different guys that can score. Can he be the #1 guy to lead this team deep into a postseason?
But when have you ever had a team that was built from the jump to be a good team? You went to the Eastern Conference Finals that year, but that was a surprise. That was a bunch of young guys. You got hot. You were playing well. You had momentum. You won some games on the road. There was juice. You were not built at the time to be one of the best teams in the Eastern Conference. Now,
well, the problem with that home team, you didn't build off of that.
No, you didn't.
It wasn't just a young team. Lou Williams was on that team. Danilo Gallinari was on that team. So you had some veteran pieces, but you didn't take that Eastern Conference Finals run and grow with it. You've been worse. You've been horrible since then.
All of those things point away from Trae Young. He doesn't build a roster.
Right.
He doesn't decide to give 3 first-round picks away to get DeJounte Murray. He's not the one that doesn't have any all-stars playing. Now he's got himself a bona fide center and a guy who's an offensive and defensive piece with Kristaps Porzingis. Now he's got a guy in Nickeil Alexander-Walker who is a two-way player and can shoot the 3 and play some defense. Now he's got a guy coming off the bench like Vit Krejci and Luke Kennard who can come and be ready when he comes in to get him the ball to knock down the 3. He has the most veteran, latent team that he's had, and it's taken 8 years for him to get that. And you throw in the fact it's taken him 3 GMs to get that. That's not on Trae Young.
No, it's not. But you know what is on Trae Young? Pulling up for a 30-footer with 2 minutes to go with the game on the line.
You're on to something.
Yeah, that's the part that I think Udonis Haslem is questioning is, can Trae Young refine his game even a little bit more? And I love Trae. I love the way he passes the ball. I love the way he's fearless. His three-point percentage is not great. He needs to take better shots. And in the fourth quarter, he has to be the guy that's going to make the biggest shots. I'm sorry, the ball is going to be in his hands over anybody else. Now, if he drives and kicks and it's open for somebody, great. But there's also going to be times that Trae's got to make the right shot.
Well, Walker Alexander is a guy who can be ready to go. Now you don't have to have 15 passes to have guys who are shot makers. Walker Alexander can make a shot. Luke Kennard can make a shot. Kristaps Porzingis can make a shot. You have guys who can make a shot. It's not a 1-2 dance with DeJounte Murray and Trae Young while a bunch of other guys standing around. And then when you had, guys who were supposed to be here, they couldn't make shots when they were supposed to. Here's Tim Legler. He likes the Hawks' moves, but like Udonis Haslem, he's questioning Trae Young.
They're not idle, and I do like these moves, and you look at their approach seems to be continued to improve their defenses. Now you put a guy like Nickeil Alexander-Walker out there with the Dyson Daniels. Yeah. I mean, you're talking about 2 lockdown corners on the floor at the same time. You also had a Porzingis who could protect the rim. Health's always going to be a factor with Kristaps Porzingis. You've got Jalen Johnson there who's going to be the future eventually. So the Atlanta Hawks, yes, absolutely. They've been very busy, very active, rounding out their team. I like the moves that they have made. At the end of the day, though, it's going to come down to the same question you and I were talking about earlier. Is Trae Young the guy that's going to lead you to the promised land? That's what you have to buy into.
Now, in fairness, your superstar always has that moniker and those questions attached to him. Yep. Can you take them all away? We saw Giannis do it. We saw Jamal Murray and the Joker do it. We just saw Shai Gilgeous-Alexander do it. But I don't know if they were questioned like Trae has. Now, Trae's been questioned because of all of the things that go into it. Maybe his attitude, his shot selection, the fact that whatever it is his peers around the NBA just don't want to put him in the All-Star game. That being said, those were things when he was a younger guy. Now that he's in his mid-20s, he's a little more mature. And now, on paper, it looks like he has the best team he's ever had. I think you can still question whether or not he can do it, but now at least he has a chance to be criticized with some players around him.
Right. The chance to be criticized it's well warranted, though, with Trae Young. Again, I keep talking about there was no market for him. We've talked about trading him, and everybody said there was no market to trade for him. You know why? Because other people in the NBA don't value, and it's crazy to think a guy that's 25-11 that they don't value him, but there's something about him that people don't like in this league. It's time for him to prove people wrong. This is a team put together in a dead Eastern Conference. A dead Eastern Conference. I know Cleveland made the move to go get Lonzo Ball, so they're going to be a little bit better in the backcourt. You lose Isaac Okoro. Big deal. The Bucks, who knows what they're going to do? There's already rumblings about Giannis could be on the move. The Pistons lost Malik Beasley. We've well chronicled what happened, obviously, with the Pacers and with the Celtics. The Celtics are a shell of themselves. A shell of themselves. The only thing Trae Young has to prove now is, can you take this team, top 4 seed in the Eastern Conference, and actually win a couple of playoff series?
We have seen the Toronto Raptors. We have seen the Denver Nuggets. We have seen the Milwaukee Bucks. We have seen the Oklahoma City Thunder win NBA titles. It now feels like you don't have to be one of the blue bloods. You don't have to be the Lakers. You don't have to be Boston. You don't have to be Chicago. You don't have to be the Mavericks or the Golden State Warriors now, one of the new blue bloods, to win a title. And this just feels good. It's almost, I'm in shock that nothing bad has happened over the last few days. We heard a name and then you didn't get him. It looks like Onsi Saleh has gotten everybody he wanted to get, and he has a plan and he's executing it.
Yeah, the interesting part about all of this is the only one to me that two came out of left field. Kristaps Porzingis, that trade, completely out of left field. Never saw that coming. And Luke Kennard yesterday. I hadn't really heard his name. Nickeil Alexander-Walker, the Hawks had been tied to him seemingly for about a week. That was kind of a name that was thrown around. But Onsi Saleh has done a fantastic job of making people give a damn about the Atlanta Hawks again.